Ooh, watching the thing. Second. Mm. I found the thing. Probably. Fuck. I'm tired. And you want to. Okay. Mm. Mm. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. So, life sucks. For me specifically, life has been sucking ass. But hey, what's up? Right, I forgot to put in the thing. No wonder. Just like, I'm out of it because I just got home. Like, but. Um, Usually, I would have you guys draw with me, which I think we can still do. You just gotta give me a minute to even set that up. But I don't know about draw with y'all. I might draw because I want to draw these two things I did in my sketchbook a while ago. I'm just like I don't like the way they look. The eyes are really far apart. It's very wonky. I was very much very high when this happened. But like I don't know, for a quick drawing in both of them, they were good. You want to see what's on the side of this drawing specifically? This one, though that's so the penises. It's like a whole thing. Oh, it's having. Ugh. Um, tell you why. Don't trust niggas out here. Niggas in general are crazy. People are crazy, and people don't. People really are psycho. Like they're psychotic out here. and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what happened with Clip Studio Paint and why y'all didn't see this coming. Like, was it just me? Right, shouldn't we do that actually? Give me a second. Bro, you did not start up your fucking lawnmower. I swear to God, I'll strangle you. Oh my God. I did not. It's not even a lawnmower. What the fuck is that? Bro. It's like... Don't do that right now. That'll piss me off. I'm already having like a bit of a rough day. Please don't do it. How do I do this? Okay. Here, you guys can draw on this thing if you want to. I'm probably not going to be drawing with you. And if no one wants to draw with me, then that's also pretty fine. I just won't do it. Yeah. Because I'm just not in the mood to try to figure out this whole thing. But let me change the thing. I hate it. Lord, you know I'm tired. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. Look at what I'm doing, what I be looking at and doing stuff. That. And Lord, you know I'm tired. Alright, I forgot to put that on the top. There we go. It's in the Discord, so if you want to come on in and draw there, you're totally welcome to. I may or may not join you. But we're talking about specifically actually I will draw on this one for a while because I'm going to be talking shit. Let me just save my thing real quickly. Because Clip Studio's kind of lagged my shit a little bit, I'm not even gonna lie. Okay, so first let's talk about what's happening with Clip Studio and why people are like actually over it, and I totally understand, but also why we all should have seen this coming, and why we didn't, I don't get. Right? So if you don't know, Clip Studio, I believe it's... I don't know when it is. I think it's next year is becoming a subscription-based like thing, like pretty much like Adobe, you know what I mean, or whatever. And I get why people are upset about it. Don't get me wrong. I understand like it's frustrating when there's something else super free, like free 99. It was a good free thing that was, it's actually pretty easy to use, and to get over like the learning curve of figuring out how to do everything, it's super easy, simple, fun, and I don't know how good it is for people who don't have like a good computer, but I assume that's pretty decent. Most artists are starting to switch over to using it. I feel like it's usually more popular for people who aren't trying to fit into the industry standard, which in some cases isn't the case as well. You know what I'm saying. Basically, if you're not like a bitch about it, you usually use stuff that is reliable like it. And while I understand that like people are like, I'm poor, like for me, I am also poor. So I understand like not being able to not being able to use it, but feeling a certain type of way about it not being easily accessible, or even for people like me or you that bought a license and shit and we can't use that shit no more, at least with the update version, which I think it's like just second version, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And we're not gonna be getting updates and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, that shit sucks. But to be fair, did we not see this coming? I mean, really? I'm getting like actually pissed off with the lawnmower in the background. Or the weed whacker, whichever. See how I stopped talking and stopped all of a sudden? That's pissing me off. Ooh. But we should have kind of seen this coming. I mean, yeah, wait, what? I'm very frustrated because why did that happen? That's maybe my tablet disconnected at one point, but now I have to like resync it up with the thing. No wonder I was like drawing. I'm like, why is it not going? But yeah, we should have pretty much expected this. I mean, when something in general becomes like a big company thing, whether it's a video game, whether it's a drawing software, whether it's whatever, they tend to do shit like this. And can you really blame them? Because on one hand, it's like, yeah, you know, we're poor and we kind of need this type of one-time purchase thing so we don't have to like spend like stupid like realistically. One of the reasons I haven't been like making videos because like editing software costs some money and it's a subscription based thing, and I don't want to pay a lot of damn money. Like I just don't like, you know what I mean? And I don't even like the software for what it is, and to be paying as much money as I am for it. So lucky I stopped paying for it. I'm trying to like have videos I don't have to cut up so much. Well, that's reasonable. And with that being said, and while it's like, okay, that sucks, it's also like they are a company and they're basically giving updates to the software. Like, none of that's cheap. Like, let's be realistic. It's not like it's a small thing that nobody uses. Most people are using this. Like, big time artists are using this, and more people are coming to use this software. And like that all the shit that they do does cost money. While donations help, and you can have like in-app purchases and whatnot. In-app purchase, and you know, like purchases and whatnot. At one point, like, it's not gonna be realistic for them to continuously be able to do new things, because well, people think of it like, oh well, for what I have right now, it's a reasonable amount. But if you want more, if you want to upgrade in any way, shape, or form, and you want it to be reasonable and good, you gotta pay for that. Honestly, the perfect example of what I'm referring to is Krita. I stopped using Krita and started using Clip Studio Paint specifically because of that thing, because they take donations and whatnot, but because they don't have the money and the resources to be able to do shit, oh my god, and most Krita updates were fucking my whole thing up, and I either couldn't use it, or like updating it was a bad idea, or I had to do a bunch of like jailbreaking shit just to be able to figure it out. And bug fixes would be updated, but like it really wasn't worth it at one point. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as like, oh, I don't have to even think about if this is compatible for my computer. It will tell me. But with Krita, I had to be like, okay, will my computer, because it's different, work on this? And like, do I need to now look up a tutorial on how to get it on my computer even though I just now downloaded it? It's that type of shit. And again, let me see if it worked. I think it did. Okay. Again, while I understand that, like, yeah, you guys didn't have to, you didn't have to change it, I'm sure. I'm also like, yeah, I mean, for what they're probably trying to do with their with their platform, not with their platform, but with their software, they probably needed the money. And on top of that, yeah, I feel like if I made a platform that everybody likes, everybody wants to use stuff, and they use people be suggesting brushes and shit like that, I kind of would want the money for it too. I like talking about a business who it starts out small and then you're mad they start growing and wanting more money from you and jacking up their prices. It's like, yeah, I feel like I feel like I made this thing everybody loves and I kind of want a lot of money for it. Like, like that's not bad. It's really like with artists, like, yeah, I feel like I made a drawing that everybody likes. People really like my art style, and people really appreciate my stuff, and people are always asking me for commissions. I think I can pay. I think I can charge you $400 for it because like 400 people are asking me for this fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like we do that all the time, and while this is a depressing thing, because again we're poor, and we don't necessarily want our main like thing to be gone. There are other alternatives, and while they will take that learning curve to get better at them, most of their brushes are pretty good, or their customization is pretty good. Like again, I said Critter, so if you're someone like me who's going a little back into more of the painted look, or you're okay with like the soft, like, you know what I'm trying to say, like a sketched look, like I don't know how to explain it. Critter's probably gonna work for you. Even if you're not, they have enough brushes, enough customizations with brushes that I think you'll be fine. And I feel like the settings for all the stuff is pretty self-explanatory as well. So there's that. Doop, 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 doop. Oh wait, did I need? No, you know what? Here. We'll come back to this at one point. Not right now, but at one point. I'm gonna do that, and then, no, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come back to stop it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Another thing, it's like, for example, OBS. OBS be fucking me over sometimes. Bro, can you just move it? Why do I have to why do I have to do that to move it? What sense does that make? I don't get it. Yes. Why can I not? I don't understand. Why? You know, a little pissed off. I don't understand. What? What? Oh, right, I'm stupid. I'm dumb. Me sitting here wondering, like, why is this not working? I don't have Clip Studio Paint up anymore. For some reason took it down. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And so I was really confused on why it wasn't coming up. But yeah. No, you're fine. Honestly, I need to go re-dye my hair. I should have. But yeah. On one hand, I'm just like, yeah, I get why people were upset. But on the other hand, I'm like, what are you bitches expecting? Like, what are you expecting a company to do? Like, there's like, I really want them to take it back because we had these licenses, and these licenses aren't going to work anymore. It's like, realistically, you paid not that much money for that license, and you probably had it for years. I can kind of understand if no, not even that, because they're extending the time to a pretty good amount, so it's not like you're not going to get your money's worth for you. And then, and again, I get it. We're poor people, but we have other alternatives. You know what I mean? There are other things. There's a media. I always say Media Bank Pro, but I feel like that's not what it's called. There's like Media Bank, the Media Bank. There's what's it called? There's Krita. There's the side paint tool one. I don't know a lot of these because I didn't explore all of them, but like actually that one might cost money. Side. There's auto sketchbook. That's the one I used to use. There are options for y'all, and you can make decent stuff. I get that. Again, you're used to this, but here's one of the things as the artist, or here's one of the things that you need to learn as an artist. It's like getting used to different techniques, different what's what I'm looking for, platforms, because everybody's not going to use Clip Studio. Not everybody's going to use. I don't know why there's so many dots in here. What? No, everybody's not going to use Photoshop. Everybody's not gonna, like, it just depends on what they use and whatnot. And it, again, I'm not saying you guys can't be mad. I'm just saying that, like, I wouldn't be. It's kind of a good looking face. Like in general, I shaped the face wrong. I kind of liked the one over on the right better than the other ones, but. Ugh. Fire Alpaca is another one. Exactly. There are other options. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. I'm not doing it. Like, if this version doesn't stay on my computer and it, like, I don't know, shuts down for every reason or whatever the case may be, or it stops working, I don't know. If that's the case, or my brushes stop working, I'll probably just go over to Krita. But I'm not paying for it. I'm too poor. I pay for way too much, like, subscription-based things for, like, my art, YouTube, shit like that. You're not getting another cent out of me. Like, FYE already gets like $20 a month off me, and I really don't even go to the mall like that. Like, you're not getting shit out of me. But again, that's more of your preference of what you want. And yeah, we could sit here and complain and whine about it, but they're not going to do anything because they know we're going to buy it. Because let's be honest, you're going to complain, and that shit's going to happen, and y'all are going to continue to buy it. Why do you think Adobe's still live and well? People have been talking shit about them for years. And they're still just doing what they want, and it's just like, okay, I guess you're just Disney now, and there's nothing we can do to stop you. But yeah. I personally lately, first of all, I quit my job. It was a while ago. So, like, I'm not working where I was working before. I'm not working there at all. It was a whole thing. I had like a mental breakdown. It wasn't necessarily because of them. It was because just in life in general. I had a mental breakdown. That's the whole thing. So that's a whole thing. And I'm kind of seeing that that's going to be a pattern, because if you've had like a mental disorder of any type, you know what I mean. Of like, it's kind of hard to keep a job. Let's be honest. You be having breakdowns, especially if you have anxiety or some shit. You'll have breakdowns. You'll have manic episodes, and like nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean? If your disability isn't very much visual, like, they don't want to hear shit. They don't want to hear. Like, they just do not care. And so, like, yeah. And like, they could maybe they wouldn't fire me, but I don't know that, and I'm not gonna trust it. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna quit. But also because something happened with my therapist. Like, well, therapist I went to go see, and they're gonna shit at me. It was like a whole thing, and like he did it on purpose. Like, it was horse shit. But like that happened, and then what else has been happening with me? Oh yeah, this is gonna be a whole story, because this is horse shit what happened, and fuck this guy and fuck all this other shit that he's insane. Like, I can't. Bro, why does this man go off on me because I asked questions? This is like the third time this person has gone off on me for asking questions. I'm not joking. Basically, to summarize the story, and y'all hear more about it, because at this point I don't give a fuck. Like, he can eat my ass. Like, I don't give a fuck. Basically, let me find my Alright, let me move this over here, actually. Okay. Basically, I gave him money. Which I don't have a problem with. Wasn't gonna hold over his head. I'm not that type of person. Never, not gonna do it when it's my money. I gave him money that specifically was not mine. I gave him one set of money that was mine. That didn't come quick enough because I'm stupid and like I don't understand PayPal like that because I never really had to give money to people over PayPal. Usually people just use Cash App, and I should. This is why I'm never gonna use PayPal again. And it's Cash App forever. You give me back my fucking money. It's just period. That's what it is. Period. It was not doing this whole. Well, I feel comfortable. What I said what we're gonna use, and that's what it is. This is why specifically why I use Cash App because it's your responsibility to get it when you need to get it, and it's a whole easier process. I don't give a fuck. But I gave them money, and because it was over PayPal, and because I did the thing where like I did over my bank account, because I was trying to avoid the fee, it was gonna take a while to get there. That's not anybody's fault. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I sent them more money, but that money wasn't mine. That was like me asking my sibling, hey, can you spot me this money so I can get this person this thing because they're in trouble right now. And you know what I mean? Like, they'll give me back the money later, right? Now, because it's not my money and I have somebody else's money, and because that person also is talking to me like, hey, where's this? What's happening? What's going on? Da-da-da. I'm now having to ask questions. Before, it was no questions to ask. I don't give a fuck. You could scam me out of my money. It doesn't bother me. But now it's like it's somebody else's shit. So yeah, I'm going to ask questions about it. I'm going to want to know what's happening and what's going on because I'm going to have to give somebody else updates. But I don't have the answers. You do. And as soon as there had to be any questions asked, my man lost his mind. He was talking to me crazy, getting mad at me for asking said questions. They kept saying like I was accusing him of not telling the truth and shit like that. And I'm like, I'm just asking questions. First of all, I could have accused you. I didn't, but I had every right to, because you lied to me several times. I still got those DMs, my man. Like, I really do. Like, it was really frustrating. I got phone call recordings, too, because he was acting crazy before this. And obviously, I would never give information that is personal, shit like that. But I have phone call recordings of him straight up lying, because I am the first person to believe somebody gaslighting me. That's all he fucking did. So he would tell me one thing in a voice call and then tell me something different later. And because I would genuinely feel like I was crazy. So I'm just like, I was so frustrated. And I even looking back at that shit now, like I'm reading back the messages now. Because I'm just like, am I crazy? And I'm like, you lied to me. And then you had to, like, I had to, chokehold that shit out of you. But you're mad that because you lied to me. So there was a possibility, because this is not even the reality, but it's the possibility that I might feel that you're going to lie to me again after you lied to me before? What? But then you're all going off at me? What? Bro, I don't know why I keep finding deranged people who do shit like this to me. And maybe it was just their anxiety, maybe it was just this, that, and the third. But because they never give anybody a break, nobody ever has an excuse but them. And I'm so serious about that. Nobody's excuse has ever worked until it's theirs. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a rat's ass about it. I really don't. So with that being said, that money's probably gone. They could pay me back. They can't. I don't care anymore. At this point, it's like, you could have just, literally, this is why I need communication in my life. They could have just told me, hey, bro, I can't pay you back. It's just not going to work. They kept telling me they were going to pay me back. I had the receipts. They could have told me, I can't pay you back. It's just not a thing that I can do anymore. If they really didn't want to tell me, the information about the money that I gave them, that I need back, if they just didn't want to tell me the information, stuff like that, they could have just been like, I just can't give you the money back. You know what I mean? This specifically wasn't like I need money that you... My point is, I'm sorry, I forgot to even mention this. The reason they couldn't give me the money back, because PayPal was playing on their part as well, which I can understand. That's why I didn't even want. That was why I wasn't pressing about getting the money back, in the sense of like me being like, okay, well, when is the exact date you're gonna pay me back? I kept asking them like, okay, so what's going on with PayPal? Okay, so they're doing this, that, and the third. Okay, so I don't understand this because I don't know. Like, I don't know the situation that you're in. Like, you haven't told me all the information. They literally, again, I had to stranglehold anything out of them. So you're not telling me all this, but you're telling me like random bits of information that are new to me. Like, okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so you told me this that one time, right? So does that mean that something different happened, or does that mean like this, that, and the third went on to where it? Like, I'm just asking direct questions of like, you haven't told me a lot, but you're telling me now new information. I'm like, okay, well, okay, so from what the information I have, it doesn't make any sense. So is there something else new come forth that happened? Was there like a little mini update that I just don't know about? And I guess I wasn't saying it the right way for them, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck if I'm not like, I'm not saying it rude. I'm just not saying it the way you want me to say it. And they literally have a pattern of getting frustrated with me of not doing that. And I'm just like, I'm not drawing at all because I'm just like actually talking with my hands right now. But like, I'm just like, I don't care. Does that make sense? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, just tell me what's going on. Like, you don't gotta fucking lick my ass all day while telling me. I'm just asking, like, hey, this situation is happening. Keep me updated on it. And especially, I think the thing that pissed me off specifically was, I need to save a lot of this for the story I'm gonna do. Also, yes, I agree with you. It's very hard to stay in a job. But, like, here's one of the things that was like, I need to save this, but also, like, I just need to get this off my chest. The thing that would really, like, frustrate me, too, well, there was an entire period during this time where they, and I get it in a sense of this, but if you have any type of mental illness, you need to understand a lot of your problems are a you problem. My anxiety is a me problem. They're irrational. Sometimes it's just irrational fears of shit that don't make any fucking sense. And I understand that. So I would never get mad at somebody else for something that's irrational that I know doesn't fucking affect them. So I get that you have anxiety. I get that you have problems. I understand that. But if I don't talk to you because I'm having my own fucking problems and you go off on me because I don't, or I don't share something with you because I barely understand my feelings right now because I haven't processed them, and I haven't shared something with you because I just right now at this moment haven't processed it, don't want to share it. I will share it eventually. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, cause they kept telling me that, oh well, I don't want to talk about it right now, but I'll share you updates. It was weeks later. Still never shared those updates. Still never communicated. Still never this, that, and third. Like, let's be realistic here. How long was it gonna take? Like, I don't understand. Like, I really don't. Like, this is it again. This isn't me. It wasn't me asking them anything unreasonable. It was me asking them this situation that I am a part of because you have, because my, not even my money, somebody else's money is sucked into it that I put in here. I just want to know what is going on. And if I ask a question and you say you don't know, but it makes absolutely no sense that you don't know, and then I ask you 4 other times, and then you finally fess up that you do know something, you lied to me. That's how lying works. Like, I don't think it's like they didn't even process. Yeah, that's a lot. They lied to me. Because you knew information that you just said you didn't know, and then now you're coughing up this information. So, like, I didn't fly out into your butt. Like, it was, I don't know how to explain. That's what I've been going through. Like, too much. Too much. Like, I can't. And, like, don't get me wrong. I push people away. And it is fine to have that feeling of, like, you want to push somebody away. Because maybe you just have, like, I have that problem. Well, my problem's a bit different. For me, when it comes to people, and I'm doing that right now, and I'm like processing and reflecting on myself of me doing this shit. When somebody gets close to me, or somebody's, even if it's a friendly fuck buddy, whatever the case may be, I sometimes tend to detach from that person quickly. You know what I mean? Like, when I say I push them away, I mean like I just almost start feeling like they're not my friend. That's not what I do with this person, by the way. I'm doing this currently because of the situation that just happened with somebody else, and I realized I was doing it because I was like, why do I feel like less happy about this person, or less happy to tell this person something else? You know what I mean? Like, they didn't do anything to me. Why do I feel this way? And I realized that I'm starting to detach from that person for absolutely no reason. Well, not say absolutely no reason because of the situation, but because like they didn't do anything. Is my point. But like, I get pushing somebody away in that way. What is toxic and crazy, in my opinion, is then accusing somebody of something when you're having an irrational moment. You know what I mean? And when I say crazy, is I mean it's that's a toxic thing to do. And I can kind of, and I would have forgiven it, and it would have been less irritating as if after they're done having that moment, they come back and was just like, maybe I feel this, that, and the third way, or maybe that I am tripping, or maybe this is something, or maybe I feel like, no, I'm right in what I'm saying, and I just feel like I need to figure it out. Again, all this is their problem. This is their mind, their this, because they really, even then, they really could not tell me what the problem is. And when they would tell me, I would literally come back and say, like, no, that didn't happen. No, you did this, that, and third. Like, what are you talking about? And yet I have the receipt. And I don't want to do that. Because then that's me getting this black shit. Of me getting quote unquote aggressive and doing too much. That's not their words. It's just, that's how I feel like it would have felt. And so I'm like, I don't want to do all that. But I told them, like, no, this, and this happened, and you said this, and that's why I felt this way, or felt the way I did. But again, I'm not yelling at you for it. I'm not this, that, and third. I'm just asking regular questions because I'm just like, hey, it's been like a week. We haven't talked in a week. I want to know how you're doing, but most of the time, every time I ask how you're doing, it's always some form of like, it's kind of the same. You know what I mean? Or like, I know that you haven't got out of the situations, obviously, because like, either you haven't told me or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, okay, so I assume you haven't got out of these situations at this point. Or I know the length of time. Because by the way, other situations they would answer questions about, it's just this one. It just wasn't this one. It literally just wasn't this one. But I know the length of those other situations for whatever reason, whether it was because they're immune compromised, they got sick, all that type of shit. So I'm just like, okay, I know all that's happening. This one situation I need updates on because I got somebody else talking to me about it. So like, let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk. Let's not even that. Let's not even really have a conversation. I just want answers to the questions that they're asking me, or I need to know for whatever reason. Or not for whatever reason, but I need to know because they're asking me, or because it's not mine. Because again, like, and this thing that is crazy because they literally. I'm gonna save the rest of this because I'm already going on a tangent and it's not in order, so it's just confusing, anyways. Basically, they blocked me. I think it was yesterday. I don't even know days and times anymore. They blocked me. Act like I was a toxic, manipulative. Like again, it was my fault that because they lied to me, they felt like. Because I feel like it's because they lied to me. I don't know what it was, but they lied to me. And because, I don't know, they thought I was being suspicious, they thought I was asking questions to accuse them of something, and I kept trying to explain to them, I know you think you figured me out. I promise you, you don't know shit about me. Realizing it now, this person didn't know not one piece of shit about me. Didn't actually know how I was. They were assuming, well, you have anxiety, so your anxiety obviously is just like this person's. And it's like, it really isn't. You have autism, obviously your autism is just like this person. It's like, it really isn't. We might have similar things, obviously similar symptoms, but the way I manifest them, the way they've collected in my life, the way I show them, way I stem, all that stuff, it might be a little bit different. They really didn't know much about me. But my issue in general with this person specifically was like, they didn't know a lot about me, but they would assume everything. So they were just assuming that obviously because this, that, and the third happened, that I just think this, and I'm like, no. I got frustrated because you were yelling at me for not talking to you enough, talking to you too much, asking too many questions. And it was like anything I did and breathed that you didn't want me to do was you yelling at me. Or you, not even, let me say not you yelling at me because I couldn't visibly hear him yelling at me, but you giving me paragraphs or being angry or you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I can't even say being angry because, again, I couldn't hear what they were saying because it was over messages. But you being somewhat upset or explaining to me that you are upset because I'm doing something that you don't like. And it's like, bro, I can't breathe without you. And that's why I just, at one point, I would just stop. I was just not talking. On top of I had work, I was just genuinely busy. It wouldn't be like I felt a need to talk to this person because I felt like everything I did that wasn't what they specifically wanted me to do at that moment was bullshit. And every time I explained that to them, they're just like, no, it's fine. Let's start over. Let's make it. It's like, you need time for yourself. Whatever. Come back to me with updates. Weeks would go by. And there would be, quote unquote, no updates, even though there would be updates. So I was just like, hey, like, what's going on? With this, that, and the third, and I would ask questions because I'm like, okay, it's been like a week or so, like several weeks, like time period is coming up, like I just want to know like what's going on, and especially because I've had my account locked on PayPal, but like it pretty much was renewed fairly quickly, so I don't know how all this works. So that's why I'm asking fucking questions, so I understand how all this works. So if something doesn't make sense to me, I'm not just like making a whole assumption that this is all bullshit. That's the point of asking questions. And so it was just like a whole thing. My point is, it's the whole thing. I felt so crazy. Because I would just sit there. Drop my damn thing. Fuck. I need that. Not my recycling. Good thing I have a second bottle. No, but I would feel so crazy. I would be listening or watching back these conversations. I would just be reading them and I'm just like, why are you still talking to this person? I'm just like, yeah, but they're having their disorder, or they have like, not disorder specifically, but they have like mental problems. You know what I mean? And I have mental problems. And I should give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm like, yeah, but when I was toxic and my friends left me because of my mental issues, because I was taking my mental issues and my problems and my fears and my anxieties out on them, like these aren't irrational things that I am making up in my head. Let me be honest with you, that's what it is. It's literally irrational shit you're making up in your head. And I'm now blaming them for shit like that. They just cut me off. Because there was a time period in time where, like, that's kind of what was happening for a minute. They cut me off. Like, and I never ever blamed them because I'm just like, yeah, looking back, I sounded fucking crazy. And so, it's just wild to me that, like, this person blocked me after they did all that shit to me. I'll save that for later. Literally after they did a bunch of shit to me. Like that, like literally were like trying to control what I did, what I said, would cut me off. And I mean like that childish shit of like and then change the entire subject because they didn't want to talk about whatever it was for too long. Which don't give me that. Well, it was about his ADD and it really no. If you don't know how to do proper coping mechanisms, if that's your solution to you having ADHD and having problems paying attention, is to do something like that to somebody constantly, but then also say in the same breath, oh, I don't like when people cut me off. That's a you problem. Like that's the type of shit I was dealing with for a while there. And again, I was like not talking to them entirely, but also I still cared because I'm just like, this isn't something I'm not used to. People have done this shit to me before. But I'm also very tired. Because I also have a bunch of other shit going on with me in my life. And they kept using, like, stuff that was happening to them as like, well, all this stuff happened to me, so you should be more sensitive. And I'm like trying to explain to them, you don't have to know what's going on with me to not fucking do that. So a bunch of shit is happening with me, but I'm not telling you, well, you should not ask questions. You shouldn't do the specific thing that I want because of this. I never said that. Even when this person triggered me, which was completely by accident, by the way. Even when that happened, I literally apologized. Because I'm like, that wasn't a you thing. You had no control over that. Like, I don't care if that bothered me. That probably mentally fucked me for a minute there. You had no control over that. That's not a you problem. That was a thing that happened to me that I need to now work on, or I need to make sure that I tell certain people maybe not to do that for specific reasons. That's something I have to take responsibility for. Not necessarily take responsibility for, but I have to, like, I keep saying this, but like chalk it up to the game. And you know what I mean, and be better about informing people about what bothers me. That is not in no way, shape, or form to right now or when it happened that I ever blame this person for that moment ever. And I never blamed them for shit that was me, like me having anxiety attacks or me having like me being super anxious and frustrated and flustered and having to like have whole moments because of stuff they did to me. I never. Well, not all of the stuff. Certain things, yes. But, like, not all of it. Because a lot of it was just like, that's just, I have anxiety. That's something that happens. And sure, that sucks. But, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, everything that slightly bothered them, even if it triggered them or not, whether it slightly bothered them or whatever, it was my fault. And I had to, like, it wasn't even like, I knew, so this happened. It was very much of like they're making an assumption in their head about whatever I'm saying or doing means, and it's my fault that they're making up whatever this is because this is the reality because they think they know me and they think all this, and I'm like, bro, that's not what's happening. I'm like half the time, I promise you, when these things were happening, I was in the car. Smiling, happy, having a great day, not even thinking about any of this stuff. And I would have told them that if they had asked, if they had taken the time to be like, okay, maybe that's my anxiety, maybe that's what's happening, da da da. And that's why, like, even when they would try to tell me, like, we should start over, or I told them, like, no. Because, like, you kinda gotta eat that. And I feel like starting over is not, we keep doing stuff like that, and not necessarily in those words, but, like, that's kind of the experience of like we were kind of like starting over or like trying to restart if something bad happens or we had an argument or something like that. And I'm just like, I just, no, we kind of gotta sit in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be awkward, it's gonna be frustrating, but we gotta sit in it. And yeah, your anxiety's gonna go up, but like, yeah. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's kind of what's gonna happen. Ooh, this is one situation specifically that brought my anxiety to like a 10. And also, by the way, let me just tell you guys this. You might not care, but this is something that like I feel like people don't realize. This specific person, I don't think they realize it either. But like, anxiety manifests. I'm sure they know it, but they're not cognizant. I'm having a stroke. Cognizant of it during these types of times of like anxiety can manifest in different ways. But specifically, I'm thinking of a specific person when I'm saying this. But when someone is anxious, it can come out as anger, crying, frustration, like anything, any type of emotion. It can come out as. That's why I feel like a lot of men have anxiety but don't say it because like I'm not sad or I'm not crying or bitching and moaning. It's like you know what I mean? Like you being angry right now irrationally because of this one thing that you think is like that's like anxiety. When you're sitting here like stressed out and like angry and just like frustrated and flustered because this thing that you think is so important that everybody else is just like, bro, calm down. Like it's just the toothpaste. You know what I mean? Like it's just this thing, or like it's just this one thing, you're like, no, because this and this might happen, and that is you being anxious. It's just coming out as anger right now. But in general, like, I would get so anxious. A lot of my anxiousness would come out as anger because I'm just like, I'm frustrated. Everything's not gonna be. I don't like people seeing me cry. I don't like showing emotion because then people think they can walk all over me. This person specifically think they can walk all over me because it's like, oh well, I'm a soft being and I like cute things and I'm soft and I'm quiet. When you first meet me, I'm quiet and I'm this. So people are just like, oh, so you're just gonna do whatever I ask you to do, and you're just gonna do whatever I say. And this person really wanted me to be like a dog. Like that's the feeling they gave me every time. Like, you know what I mean? Of like, well, you need to do this because, or you should do this, or it's just like, if I wasn't that way, would you be treating me like that? I feel like it's a no. Like if you didn't have some form of like, it was weird. Anyways. I personally feel like it's because of this person's traumas of why they're doing all that, which is totally understandable. But just like with my fucking ex, they need to fucking heal. I keep telling people this, and this is like a thing I've been telling people for almost all year, really. You need to heal. When just because you are not crying about a situation, just because you realize what has happened to you in that situation, just because you are like there when it comes to like what's happening to you and all that shit, does not mean that you have healed from that situation. You can know everything about a situation, this person was abusive, awful, does not mean that you have healed. Does not mean that you did not pick up traits from that person. Does not mean that you have not picked up toxic traits. Let's go with that word because the other word I was going to use. Yeah. Toxic traits from that person. You could have picked that shit up and you are now hovering it over to another place. And just because someone doesn't say that you're toxic doesn't mean that's not what's happening. That's why like I keep trying to say to people like self-reflection is such an important thing. It truly is. Like reflecting on yourself and what you have done and what you do. Like I do that every single day. On top of it's because of my anxiety. I just want to make sure that I can be the best person I am. Even if I said something to somebody and I feel like an hour later, like, bro, like that might have been not the thing to say, or it may have felt like I had an attitude today. You know what I mean? Like I probably shouldn't have done this, that, and the third. It's like, yeah, you have to reflect on that shit. And the thing I think that gets people that do it is that you have to realize other people don't. So you might reflect on your actions. The other person doesn't. They don't give a fuck. Example A, the person I'm fucking talking about. They don't give a fuck. They're just like, well, I feel like he's the rightest of fighters. I feel like I'm right and I'm right and I'm right and I'm right and I'm right. And if you say I'm wrong or you have an attitude with me or you argue with me, I'm going to literally shut you down because I don't want to hear that I'm not right. That's literally most of our conversations, our arguments were because I was telling him like, hey, you're not right in the situation, and let me explain to you why you might not be as, or at least you might not be as right as you think you are. Like there's a specific situation I'm thinking of, and I was trying to explain to him like this specific like experience you don't have, your girlfriend doesn't have. There's a specific experience that I can relate to this person, and so while you might think it's this thing, it also is probably this other thing that you wouldn't even understand unless you talk to someone specifically about their experiences in this way. He shut me down before I could even get any of that out. And it was just like, my man doesn't reflect on it. He doesn't care. He never did when it came to that. Like, he would never reflect on any of his actions. I know he didn't. Because if he did, then we would have actual conversations about it. But it was just like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's cut it off. That's why, again, communication is important because you don't want people doing that. You don't want people cutting out the conversation you guys need to have. It's not going to be pleasant. You may not agree at the end of the day. That's fine. I didn't care that we disagreed. I cared that he didn't even hear me out. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I have this weird, I literally have, like, full-on fights with my sister. We've hit each other before because we disagreed. Because we didn't have the same agreements, and we're ghetto. So we've had this fight. I'm not gonna fight anybody, but, like, you get what I'm saying? We've had on agreements or disagreements. I'm still her. She's still my sister. I still care about her. Not all of my siblings. I feel that way, but this specific sister, I still care about her because even though we had disagreement, even though we weren't, you know what I mean? We didn't come to like, oh, this person's right, or whatever the case may be. We still had that conversation. We understand each other's feelings, and it's not anything like, like, it's not like transphobia or something like that. It's not like anything that's a deal breaker. It's just like, okay, well, I just feel like this person is an asshole, and I'm just like, no, I don't feel like this person's an asshole. Here's why. And we had the conversation, and we're done. I have these types of conversations all the time. It isn't just a him thing. Like, I have other people I talk to. Like, even with my ex now, we have conversations like that all the time. We will disagree until the cows come home, and then 2 seconds later be like, "We'll go get some Taco Bell," and that'll be the end of it. Because now I know that specific topic we don't agree on. So now later down the line, I know that for future reference. Not to pick at you, not to say anything, but just because I know. And so it's just, that's a whole thing. I'm going to talk about that. Because honestly, shit pissed me off when it happened. I was frustrated as fuck when it happened. And, like, I was over it. I'm over it now. You know, since I'm over it now. Like, I'm angry. I'm frustrated. Like, shut the fuck up. I told you, me and my ex had full on disagreements about stupid shit. Stupid. I fucking get so mad at him. I asked him, or I reminded him, by the way, I reminded him to bring the toilet paper upstairs. Right? I call toilet paper, like, toilet paper and, like, the stuff you would, like, I don't explain. The stuff that's in the box that you would blow your nose with and the stuff that you put on the side of the toilet, I call them interchangeably toilet paper and tissue paper. I don't make it different. The only time I call something tissue paper for sure is if I'm saying, like, oh, go get that decorative tissue paper. That's the only thing I call specifically tissue paper. Either way, whether it's the stuff in the box or the stuff on the roll, I'm calling it toilet paper or tissue paper, whatever I feel like at that moment. And I've never had a problem with it until this nigga right here. And him having a whole thing about me calling it, like, tissue paper. Like, the stuff on the roll can be tissue paper. It's a shit you wipe your ass with. Like, what is your problem? What is your problem? I don't feel like it's a problem. But, like, even, like, stuff like that, I can't listen. But, like, it's a lot. I can't. Him sending me fucking shit in my fucking message. I can't with him. But, again, like, my ex was kind of toxic. And it was a lot. And our relationship was kind of not great. But again, the reason we're still friends is because of the communication I personally beat into him. I personally beat him into submission. No, but, like, it's because of the conversations that we can have and the agree-disagree conversations that we have. Now, there's times where it's like it's a deal breaker type thing of, like, no, you're not going to say that because that's not right, and I feel like that's racially motivated. Like, he hasn't said anything like that in a while. But, like, I'm like, no, that's not something I'm going to let go. If it's just a conversation about something or just, like, a perspective that maybe you didn't want to hear, and it's frustrating. I get this person is going through something, that's why I'm not telling you the name. So I'm not doing all that. It doesn't even matter if they weren't going through something, I'm not going to do all that. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to teach them anything. It honestly doesn't do anything. Like, that honestly brings more of a headache for me than it does for anybody. That's always how it's been, in my opinion. But I'm not going to say their shit. I'm not going to say anything personal. I'm not going to bring anything up that I don't need to bring up because it's not relevant. If you had, because let's be honest, if you had personal problems, if you had problems that genuinely affected how you communicate with people, your relationships with people, and you haven't figured that out yet to be able to have a basic conversation with somebody, again, that is a you thing that you need to figure out. Because even when I was having problems or issues, or I felt very frustrated with this person, I would then sit back, be like, you know what, I feel frustrated with this person, but this, that, and the third, and this is probably also maybe just my anxiety, and I don't know which one it is, so I shouldn't lash out. Like, I would have to have whole conversations with myself, which I hate, because I should not have. I was very justified in most of all of my anger with this person, but I was like, I need to stop and not try to lash out at this person or feel like this type of way. I'm frustrated at the moment, but like, let me just not. Again, the one specific thing I'm thinking about, yeah, I stood 10 tones down at that one. Like, yeah, we got to move on from that conversation because that was very ignorant what they said, and they will never acknowledge it to this day because they don't want to hear it. But like, yeah, it's a whole thing. My point is, because I went on a whole tirade with this specific person, because I feel like I've been holding this in for a minute because I didn't want to tell anybody, because I wanted to really, like, I have to make sure that, like, I'm not gaslighting myself. So I had to read those messages over again because they blocked me. It was the whole thing. It doesn't matter. I had to read the messages over again. I had to figure out what was going on. I had to listen to the conversations over again and make sure that, like, my memory of what happened is not skewed. And I'm like, no, like, they did say this. They did do this thing over here. A lot of stuff, obviously, it's gonna be, like, from my memory because I didn't record everything. But a lot of it, I was like, yeah, no, that did happen. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, that happened, right? And that happened exactly the way I thought it did. And I'm just like, I have a problem with fucking letting people like that into my life or letting them waste my time like that. Because that's how I felt like it was a waste of time. Even the whole aspect, because we were fuck buddies, right? And apparently, I don't know, like, that's a whole other thing of like what we'll talk about that later. The whole thing with them wanting to be in a relationship with me, and then the way that it was handled when I got into a relationship with somebody else, and how I got that they were frustrated, but like I might show that conversation specifically because it was insane. Like, I felt so uncomfortable. Honestly, I felt a little bit unsafe. Honestly, I'm gonna be 100% with you. I felt a little bit unsafe because I was like, that was a whole other thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it the proper way, which I'll find a way to explain when I record it. But basically, it was like a thing of I'd asked them. I have me asking them. I asked them several times, like, what this was and like what they wanted this to be. I asked. I'm not sure if it was several times actually. I think it was several times from my memory, but I have to go back and actually check. But it was at least one time I've asked them like, what was this? And they just didn't answer me. So I'm like, okay, I'm not just gonna stay with this forever and guesstimate that you want to be in a relationship with me, especially when we haven't met, especially because you're telling me like, you know what I mean, like that type of thing. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm gonna still, especially because at the current moment we're not together, we're still fuck buddies. I'm like, okay, well, let me just, you know what I mean? I'm still looking for a relationship, like, you know what I mean? And it was just like, even then, here's me gaslighting myself again. Realizing what I'm saying, he would have wanted us to be in a non-monogamous relationship, right? So there wouldn't be that commitment. But if I found somebody that wanted to be in a monogamous relationship, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't even matter. I might be a dick if that was the case, or if it was the case of like, we were in like a non-monogamous relationship and then I want to get into a monogamous one. But realistically, nah, because like, I would have been a dick, or you could have justified calling me a dick, but because that wasn't the situation, if I want to be in a non-monogamous relationship with somebody that I enjoy the company of after I've asked you, whether it was now or the beginning of our conversation, you never clarified that you wanted to be anything else. Like, if you feel hurt by that, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't need to know that. Because they really told me that, and I'm like, I am validating your feelings right now, but also like I don't really need to know that because you're basically saying, well, I feel really sad because I wanted this. It's literally like somebody coming up to somebody and saying, I'm really sad because I want that piece of cake that you bought. I thought you bought it, but I thought you were gonna give it to me. And I'm just like, no, you never said that you wanted it. I even asked you, and then you didn't respond. So if that was the case, which that's literally what it was, I asked you, you didn't respond. You never explicitly said that you wanted it. You may have given off the vibe that you wanted, but I'm not going off of vibe. I'm going off of communicating because we're adults. So you know you can't then have the cake, and then you can't sit here and bitch at me about you doing that. Again, your feelings are valid of you feeling that way, but you coming to me, it was like, that doesn't make me feel. You knew how that was going to make me feel. You may not have been able to control how you felt, but you knew how that was going to make me feel. To tell me that. Like, that's, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not crazy. You knew how it was going to make me feel to tell me that. You knew exactly how that was going to make me feel. And even when I expressed that that's how it made me feel, you then invalidated my feelings by saying, well, yeah, but that's the way I feel. Like, no, it's oh, I'm sorry that I made you feel that way because I genuinely didn't know, because that means you knew. But I genuinely didn't know that would make you feel that way. I just wanted to tell you. You were just like, no. Well, I don't care. That's how I felt. Because you were invalidating my feelings. You didn't care about how I felt. You just cared about how you felt. Like, you know what I mean? And then really wanted to get in a relationship with me. And I'm like, why would I want to be in a relationship with that? Like, that's how I felt in that moment of like, you're basically telling me like your feelings matter over mine when we weren't even together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was what was like, that made me feel unsafe. That made me feel very unsafe because I'm just like, that is some like, oh, I'm mad because like, even though I didn't express that I wanted to fuck you, because I've had people do this, I haven't expressed I wanted to fuck you. You came over. You know what I mean? That's how it makes me feel. Like, it honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's how it made me feel. Like, well, you came over and like I bought you stuff. So like I just thought that, no, you're an adult. You need to talk to me about what you want from me or what this was. And especially when I went out and reached out to you and asked you what you want. Like, I've had niggas where I've asked them like, what are you trying to do after this date? Because I feel like you want more after this date. And them not communicate with me and then get mad at me or like, well, I thought we were gonna go back to my place and do this. No, nigga, like, you gotta communicate that's what you wanted. Do you know what I mean? And like, it was stuff like that where I'm like, I kept letting that stuff go. But I'm like, I shouldn't have let that go. Because in no way, shape, or form am I saying that I think this person is anything. But I'm saying that those moments were really weird and they made me feel very uncomfortable. Because why would you do that? Because why wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? Because why didn't you either? And I get being shy and anxious, stuff like that. But again, that is not my problem. That you were too, like, your anxiety or whatever it might have been, didn't have you say like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you. That's not me. And if you weren't ready to be in a relationship because you didn't know and then never expressed afterwards that you wanted to be in a relationship, and I don't mean, well, I gave off hits and signals and things like that. If you never told me like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you, and I never accepted that, because even if you told me that and if I never accepted it, that's the end of it. There is no, well, you should have. We were fuck buddies. And we barely did that. And you knew I had other fuck buddies also. And you also knew, because of my profile and things like that I was still looking for a relationship. I didn't hide any of that from you. I'm pretty sure I talked to you. I'm not sure. That might be a no, because I might be confusing them with my ex. I'm pretty sure I also talked to them about my relationships and things like that. It was a whole thing. Honestly, the whole situation was just very bizarre. And so it's weird that I'm talking about all this, but then also was not cursed out, but like, you know what I'm talking about, like, very much was shat on, it felt like, for a while there, because I didn't do something that somebody wanted. It's triggering. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very triggering, but again, it's my problem that I gotta deal with. I don't care. This person blocked me. They can never get back money. They can definitely get back money. I don't care. It is what it is. Like, it genuinely is what it is at this point. I'm still gonna have to give her back that money. Like, the money is not gonna just, nothing's gonna happen. Unlike me, that got a whole job for this person. That's a literally thing that happened because I'm a dumbass. I literally got a whole job for this person. I'm gonna have to pay this person back, which is perfectly fine. My sister, she's understanding. Well, even though she's struggling now, partly because of it, because that was part of her savings. I'm gonna have to pay her back. I have to pay other people back now. It's a whole thing, and I'm gonna try to tell the story in a less choppy way. I'm probably gonna private this, to be honest with you, because I don't even want to. I want to tell the story without there being like this whole thing of me staying here for an hour, having a whole conversation that's scattered and shit. But yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. And I don't feel bad. Same thing how I felt about the friend I told you guys about on top of this, which, again, never said her name or anything like that. But I talked about all the dirty shit she did to me. I feel the exact same way of, like, if our friendship meant so little to you because I asked a question that you didn't like, nothing transphobic, nothing this, something about a specific situation that I am a part of, because again, this is my ideas in it. I don't know what to tell you. If you that's not a normal thing. Genuinely, to be frustrated with somebody, excuse me, because they're asking for their money back that you said that you would give them. That's weird behavior. To block that person and act like that person is manipulative for asking questions about that stuff. Which, again, I never asked them. Let me say, I've never was like hounding them back for this money. I just wanted updates so I knew what was going on, because someone else was doing that to me. I was just like, hey, I just want to know, like, not even when you can get it to me or anything like that. It was like, I just want to know, like, what does this mean? What do you mean by this? What does that mean? You said you have this. Like, they literally sprung that they had more money in their account later on after the money disappeared, because, and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't know that. Wait. And I'm just, because I'm sitting here like, I didn't know that information. Like, wait, what do you mean? So, like, wait, did you, like, when did this, that was literally what pissed them off, with me being like, wait, okay, so you have more money in your account? Okay, well, how did that, wait, when did that money come in? Because I'm confused, because I was never given any of this information. So I'm like, okay, well, did that money come in from something? Did the money, like when did you have this money in? Was this money before you had the thing? Like, and by the way, I was saying it, they're not listening, but like, I was saying it specifically. I asked them these questions specifically solely because my point of dragging it out was not because I was trying to accuse them of anything. It was just because I'm like, okay, if you had this money beforehand, and let's say, because I assumed what they were saying, I assumed all of this was for like payments, because I already know they were like paying a lot of bread for a bunch of shit. I was like, oh, so this is for payments for something, probably. That's why I already had the money. And it was like, like, it had to renew. I thought, that's why I assumed it was, honestly. And I'm like, okay, so if you had that, maybe that can like help with it, of like, you have like, you can show like, hey, I had this much money in my account because I took out these types of or I took out like a payment on this, or maybe, just maybe, if they didn't, if like the payment was there or it was being processed or whatever the case may be, and it didn't come out, like there might have been a way that we could have figured that out if I had that information. I'd be like, okay, because I was also talking to people like, okay, well, I don't know how this works, and they gave me like, they literally sent me an article and was just like, yeah, this is gonna explain everything. It didn't actually really explain very little into how it could be solved, in my opinion. So I'm like, okay, well, let me see, because I was asking somebody else, like, okay, well, let me give this information to them as well, because I'm just like, okay, well, you can explain it to me, and then we can try to figure out something that maybe we can do, because, again, this is my money as well, but also, like, this is somebody else's money, and in general, they should just give them back their money, so I'm also doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? But either way, I shouldn't have been, like, an arm and a leg for me to figure out this stuff. Anyways, with all that being said, I need to stop letting toxic, crazy people in my life and just, again, not crazy because they have a mental thing, crazy because they were literally making up stuff that didn't exist and then blaming me for it. They were doing that. Like, that's what that was. Yeah, I need to stop. I need to stop talking to crazy people. I need to stop talking to people who have not healed because I cannot help them. And I'm not, for some reason, people I feel like that. I'm safe black, and not even just in the sense of like people try to do racist shit to me and think it's okay because I'm safe black. I feel like people think that I'm like the safe black in the sense of like, oh, you're safe. Like, I can just say whatever to you out of pocket and random shit, and you'll just be very understanding because you understand mental health. And I'm like, I understand that people make a lot of excuses while they have mental health issues. I understand people don't take accountability when they have mental health issues because example number one is this bitch over here because I used to do that shit when I was younger all the fucking time. On top of I didn't, well, for a good chunk of my life, I didn't know that I had anxiety or anything. But even when I found out I didn't take responsibility for it. I was thinking that everybody else was trying to hurt me. But that's how it felt. Like everybody was out to get me. Everybody was trying to hurt me. When really a lot of it was my irrational fear. Don't get me wrong. A lot of shit happened to me that was fucked. But some of the times it was just me having irrational fears like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go over there, or I don't want to touch that, or I don't want to do this because I just feel like something's gonna happen. Like, like I always say, knowing my luck, I'll jump off a cliff one day accidentally. You know what I mean? Like, and realistically, that's just me having a irrational fear, and I shouldn't let that irrational fear stop anybody from doing anything. Like, it has a hold on me, and while suffering alone sucks, in that case, I'm going to have to kind of suffer alone. I'm not going to stop my friend from doing something because of how I feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't, if I don't want to do it, I shouldn't do it. And if it was a rational fear, then I could come up with a rational reason. Not, well, I feel like, well, it might happen. Well, it's like, you might choke and die from eating something. Are you going to stop your friend from eating? Is that rational? Like, no, that's not rational. I would have fears like that of like, I wouldn't like them eating certain things. I would generally feel anxious when people eat certain things. I feel like they're gonna choke on it. That's not, I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't be that person. You have to be able to sort out the rational, irrational. And when you have those moments, sometimes you cannot. But in that case, you take a minute because you realize that that's happening to you and you have to breathe and you have to figure like that's a you process. And while that sucks, well, people that are normies will never understand that, and people never understand the mental stress it is just to even just be talking about this. I'm mentally tired and physically tired a little bit, even though that's, you know what I mean, some people can't understand that. I have to live with that, and it sucks ass. And yes, it would be nice if people could just accommodate me in every way, shape, or form, but that's not reality. It's not. And in some cases, it's not somebody's responsibility to coddle you, whether you have a mental problem or not. Accommodations are understanding. Coddling is not something that I have the patience to do, especially when you're talking about another person that also has mental problems. So you have it and they have it. It's you. Neither of you should be doing that. It should be like a, bro, you know what I mean? I'm like mentally exhausted. Like, I don't got the energy for this. You feeling that same way? Well, I'm feeling that way. So I'm gonna go over here and just like, cause like I just can't do it. That's supposed to be a thing of better understanding, but in most cases, and in this case, it was actually the quite opposite of like, well, I think your shit is just like mine. It's like, no. The whole point of us learning about mental health is to realize that it is so different for every person because of how they grew up, what happened to them, who they are, what they look like, their skin color, like literally their race, because their culture, their race and their culture can literally affect their mental problems and like what that means and what's going to happen and why they do what they do. And y'all understand the extent of that. Y'all understand what that actually means. You just say it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe was giving off of, like, you don't know what that actually means. That's the reason why I forgave you so many times when you were acting insane and never apologized for it was because I understood that. But at one point, I'm not going to take, like, actual abuse, like, literal mental abuse from somebody just because that's happening. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I've done that before, and I'm not doing it again. Like, that's the vibe I'm on anyways. You know what? I'm not drawing. Not a little bit. But with that being said, I think I'm done. It's been kind of an hour. And while I should have finished this drawing, I'm not going to. I'm watching a show that I'm actually going to review because I kind of enjoy it so far. Excuse me. Also I got a new job, which I started Monday. Woohoo. But yeah. It's called like, I think it was like Tamagotchi game. Tamaguchi? Tomorrow Salad? Something like that. But it's a game that came out spring, or a show that came out spring of 2022. So it came out this spring. And you've seen it. Like, it's like about, it's a little cute child. And it's kind of like Squid Game, but less bloody for right now. But I'm only like, I think, how many episodes am I in? Like maybe 6 or 7, maybe. I'll be lying. I'm a good chunk of the way in to the show. But yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna review that. There's another anime. It's an isekai. No, it's not isekai. It is. I think it's a slice of life. Technically, it's a slice of life anime. It's really good. Or not, it's not really good. It's very average, but I want to talk about it. And yum. I think I'm gonna go do that. And I'm gonna stop talking and ranting. Because I don't know why I just felt the need to just spew garbage out of my mouth. But yeah. I should have just put up the drawing thing and drew with you guys. I don't know, I've been feeling away lately, so yeah. Also, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you were in the Twitch chat and I just didn't. Yeah, a lot's happening. I'm sorry. I stopped looking at all the chats in general, and I was having a whole moment just now. A lot has happened, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I stopped drawing. I was just like talking my hands, like, you know. Are you my gay best friend now? What is happening? Get out of here. Go back to work. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stop sweating. I'm gonna actually edit this video because even though my editing software is not exist. Actually, do I still have the subscription for it? We can see together because I don't know. But yeah, I always forget to respond to Twitch chat. I feel like to be fair, I tried to go into my little thing where I connect, like where Twitch chat and YouTube chat and all of it's connected, and I got logged out of it, and they won't let me re-sign in, and so that's irritating. But just whatever. And yeah. Also, by the way, all of my perceptions of what happened could very much not. It's definitely not fucking theirs. So don't think because I'm saying all of this, this is how this person feels as well or anything like that. I promise you, they probably do not feel the same way in any way, shape, or form. Which is okay. If they feel a totally different way, I can't do anything about that. You know what I mean? I know what I know, and I'm going off of the text message and shit. I'm going off of, but it could totally just be a miscommunication. Either way, they still blocked me because they didn't ask the question and they assumed about shit. So like that's that. I mean that's reality. But like, but like, you know, I should have been drawing. But I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna wash the shit, and then I'm gonna come back stronger tomorrow. I think I'm gonna record the thing tonight and then upload it tomorrow. Honestly, because I just don't really care to edit it too much. It's just gonna be me giving you a story. I might draw the thumbnail, so it might take a little bit longer. But if I don't draw the thumbnail, then it's not gonna be anything. But thank you for watching. I will see you later. Yeah. The